Hey guys, so a beautiful friend just gave me this kind of transmission type thing where she was talking through the chakras system. So I had to like lie down and she kind of allowed me to focus on each chakra, take note of the color, and um, and she was doing these incredible vocalizations. I just had this image of a goddess just kind of like incredible vocalizations, and it blew my mind just how much these intonations um, vibe with each chakra. Like the moment when it was the intonations were getting higher as I was focusing on the different center point, and the higher the intonations, like she would be like, okay, let's do a third eye activation or focus on your third eye, and then this high pitched intonation and the suit, like, so I'd focus on, my attention would go to my third eye and I'd see the color, whatever, and then but when the intonation came in, it was like a like it was impossible not to put my attention there, if you know what I mean. So the sound was kind of guiding my attention, and this transmission, I think the point of it, if it's I mean, it was very successful, but I think I didn't feel like she was talking about warmth in the body and the feeling of bliss afterwards. I didn't feel that palpably. I didn't feel the bliss. But what it did do, it just highlighted all the blockages in my body, of which there are so many. Because I think what happens, this is what was interesting about it. What happens is that when I lie down or when I relax, anytime I lie down or relax, the Kundalini attacks a certain area of my body. So I know, I'm aware of blockages and stuff. But it's really interesting to go through them one by one and just really feel into each chakra. And as you do that, what happens is your attention goes to there, and then one of the first things you might become aware of, though, there's a great big knot. And so the feeling is, as the attention penetrates the knot, it starts to dissolve, starts to open, like, and the feeling is sometimes like, but you have to be really relaxed, and it kind of goes, it's like, it's that kind of feeling. It's like, oh, it starts to open like a flower, and it's beautiful. But they're so dense that it's gonna happen over time. So this going through one by one by one, and then sort of highlighting them all, very powerful stuff. Very powerful stuff. And in my heart, I've got this huge, massive knot. And, I think my crown and my third eye are pretty good. It's the lower stuff mainly. I've got a feeling that from this is okay, but this is a mess. That's the feeling I'm getting. Um, and so I thanked her. I just said to her, "Now, just thank you so much," because I got very emotional as well. There's like tears coming down, and just it's just the body just seems to react to these things, and I'd never quite felt my crown being that active before, and it was amazing, and it has after effects. So afterwards, as in just now, I was sitting completely still, and there was just nothing going on, and it was beautiful. I was just staring at the wall, and I'm quite hungry, so I'm going to go and eat in a minute. But normally, I just feel like, oh, I'm really hungry, and I was just like, no, 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 I just want to sit here, and it felt like one of them do excuse me, it felt like one of them do nothing meditations that Frankie Yang talks about sometimes, which I think is my preferred method of meditation. Because it's not a method, I think that's why I like it. The do nothing meditation. And it is just sitting, and without the urge to change anything. And what it feels like is the dust just settling where it is. Because I think what happens is that we're constantly trying to change our circumstances, and what it feels like often is just like a wind that's like stirring up all this dust because you're trying to change. You're kind of going. You're constantly stirring like a dirt trail that you keep stepping on and stirring up dust and stirring up dust and stirring up dust and stirring up dust. And if you stop walking for a minute, suddenly the dust just falls and lands where it is, and it's like, oh God, that is so much better. And there was no need to focus on my breath or do any of that shit. You know, there was no need to like change the experience. And I loved it. I loved just sitting and doing nothing, really, I suppose is what I'm trying to say here. Also, what was coming to my mind and what's been on my mind recently is the total irrelevance of non-duality. I think it's just irrelevant. I think that's what it is. I mean, and the non-duality teachers will say that. There's no point to that message. You're not going to get anything from it. But this is the non-duality thing is going to be going round and round like a merry-go-round in my head for 2 years now. And I haven't seen it. I haven't understood it. I don't know. But it's becoming more obvious that it doesn't change anything. It's just irrelevant. And so I think for a while with non-duality, I feel like it's kind of been stifling my expression, because it's like I want to go online and I want to go and talk about Kundalini, and because I'm not self-realized or don't get the non-duality, it's kind of like, well, don't, until that happens, whatever's supposed to happen, don't talk about it. Don't talk about Kundalini. It's not, everything's already won. What's the point? What's the point if it's already happening by itself? What's the point in doing it? That kind of feeling. And even though people were telling me that that's kind of bullshit, like that feeling persisted, but I'm starting to break out of that now and to just want to talk about Kundalini. And also kind of allow myself to express myself fully and just risk being wrong, which I think is something that I'm generally quite good at. And I just really recommend, if you're going through something like this, just to talk and just get it out and put yourself out there, not necessarily online, but just to talk to people, because otherwise you don't get feedback from people. And there's always this sense in me that's like, I'm going to get it wrong. I'm not non-dual, I don't understand, so hold it in, because it's wrong. And more and more I'm just like, no, fuck it, let it out, and if it's wrong, then there's an opportunity there for someone to tell me it's wrong. But if if it's not expressed, no, we can't have a conversation about it, you know what I mean? And what's becoming more and more obvious is just that the more you do that, yeah, you might get triggered because someone might say to you, that's bullshit or that's stupid, or, but, and then you start to enjoy getting triggered a little bit, because it shows you it shows you that, oh, that there's a trigger there, so what's going on? And without that, it's just feedback. And I think that what this reality is, in a way, is like some kind of feedback system. So you need those triggers, but you can't get triggered if you don't express yourself, right? So that's what I think a lot of that's what I'm trying to do with this channel, is just put myself out there, inspired by the head marks, just kind of like, okay, I think I should put myself out there, but also it just feels good, man. I'm still glowing a little bit from this weird transmission thing. And yeah, so going back to non-duality, I just think it's irrelevant. I don't think it changes anything. So there is no need for whatever the fuck non-duality is to get in the way of your fullest expression of yourself, to get in the way of you being yourself. And non-duality is supposed to, it's supposed to be about being, right? It's just like, and I feel like it was preventing me, like it was like a blockage that was preventing me from being myself. Don't get me wrong, I'm still obsessed with the fucking thing, and I know I know it's going to keep going around and around, but it's fine. But I do think it can be detrimental. It can be detrimental. I think just because you can't help but misunderstand it. It's not non-duality itself. It's just that it can be detrimental to someone going through a Kundalini awakening during certain stages of the awakening. It's just kind of like, you don't need it. You don't need it. And so the confidence now to talk about Kundalini is just coming more to the forefront, and just forget about that other stupid thing. Because what it felt like to me is if almost like I was a doctor about to operate on someone with cancer, right? And they're lying there and they're going, "Doctor, please, can you help? I've got this cancer." I'm like, of course. And then a non-dual speaker comes in and goes, "Yeah, but you don't need to do that because of, non-duality." And I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "Non-duality, so nothing needs to happen." "Yeah, but I want to help this guy, and he's lying there. He's got blockages, growths, spasms." It's like, feel like should I help this guy? No. And he's like, "No, I don't need to. Nothing needs to happen." It's like, oh, fuck it, I'll just leave it. It was that kind of. I think it was affecting me in that kind of way. It's this kind of confusing. No, stop what you're doing because it doesn't mean anything. It's like, stop what you're doing because it doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean? It's fucking nuts. And the more I think about it, and the metaphor being, the surgeon is Kundalini, you could say the patient is me or the body or whatever. So you can see how it's kind of having this kind of interference effect on just my energy. And it's nice to flush that out after 2 years. I feel like that particular feeling and that particular confusion is just flushed out. That's the way I feel. Because it is, I just know it's irrelevant. It's like, okay, everything's one, it's not two, right? So what? You know what I mean? So what? Am I going to do stop? What is the effect of that? It doesn't have an effect. It doesn't affect anything. It leaves you with nowhere. Anyway, I hope you like my Kundalini t-shirt. Ta-da! Kundalini. Anyway, all right.